Hey guys, welcome back. Here is a story of a former blue-pilled Swedish guy. Let's listen.
Hello, I'm 25 and I live in Sweden. I have a mild form of Asperger, diagnosed 2005, which I at first wouldn't acknowledge, and refused to get insight on, until recent years, and I ought research more on, in addition to my current aspiration to gain more self-knowledge. I possess extended capacity for logical thinking at the expense of emotional traits. I'm overall nice and friendly, but naive and gullible, the perfect victim for manipulation and deceit. I also have social anxiety, and I wish to limit my exposure to crowded areas as best I can, because I get mentally exhausted and uncomfortable. However, I try to overcome my obstacles with training. I visit a crowded mall now and then. As I reflect on my past way of thinking and my current, I was a bit of a red pill number back then as well, and faced reality in nearly all situations, except in relations and women. In 2011, after years of isolation and minimal activity with friends, which I've lost contact with at this point, I decided I would end my life. Why keep on living with this dysfunction and keep suffering? I often found myself lacking and limited by it, and I was sometimes reminded through other people's remarks or reactions. And then suddenly woman. I receive a mail from a person I play World of Warcraft with, whom occasionally sent me gifts in game, and constantly stalked me. The mail said that she had taken a strong liking to me. Never before had I been approached by a woman this way, except from a few girls that sometimes run up to me and say that I'm cute, then take off in embarrassment. Asperger kicks in, and brain gives no reaction to mail, or perhaps it was anxiety that hindered a response. Anyway, I keep on going with my routines, and trying to find energy to get my body over to the railway, so I can finally end my miserable existence. A month goes by, still too lazy to take my life, and games are the only thing keeping me alive. The girl starts chatting in game and asks if I got the mail she sent. She confessed her love, and claimed she had been looking me up, Googling me and masturbated to pictures of me. What the actual fuck? Instead of creeping the fuck out, I get highly curious. We chat and play for hours daily. A few weeks later, she offers to expose herself intimately on cam, cute and innocent looking, does all kinds of things and dirty talking. I become infatuated. This goes on, and I postpone my suicide. I finish school with good grades the same year. I felt a bit happier about her. What she has told me about her at this point, 2 years older than me, lives in Philippines. Her mom got knocked up while working in Japan, attempted to cause miscarriage with drugs. Abortion is illegal for religious reasons, but she survived. So she was raised by crazy single mom, who had a gambling problem. They lost house, car, etc. She has 3 sisters, all different fathers. Her mom had kids with each of them to drain them of money to sustain gambling addiction. Sent the middle sister to Japan to work in a questionable profession, to provide her additional funds. The girl had gotten out of her past abusive relationship, where she claimed was beaten and bruised. She had some education, and worked at some photo studio. Feelings grew over the course of a year, until we finally decided to meet. I flew down there for a month. To my surprise, she started stroking me after a few minutes together in the taxi. As soon as we got settled in a room, wild sexy times ensued. Had a wonderful vacation, but the month flashed by rather quickly. She cried at the airport during our goodbyes. We continue playing like before, with strong urges to see each other again. Half a year later, we arrange for her to come to Sweden. Tons of women stuff fills my apartment, Sex several times a week. She takes pills. I find a calm and comfortable office job, decided at half-time due to my sleeping problems. She mentions marriage, and keeps nagging about it, every now and then. Having a difficult time adjusting from years of isolation to getting out to work, lack of sleep, biological clock messed up, has almost always been, until after a few weeks at work it slowly got corrected. Girl becomes more demanding, keeps asking when I am going to work full-time, constantly asks for money, as it's not enough what she's getting from the government from her studies. Drastic change. She plays victim game, and claims I don't love her. My Asperger hinders me from fully being able to express myself and my feelings, which I had told her many years ago, but I loved her deeply despite of that, though it was waning over time due to her behavior. She asks for bigger sums of money, keeps telling me her mom catching new sicknesses every month. I treat her like an equal, though I gave in to her spoiled behavior. Year 2013, at this point, she cuts me off from my closest friend, calling him a creep, and family, presumably to easier manipulate me, claiming we have to solve our own problems ourselves. She's being completely illogical, irrational, and doesn't explain the problems. I fall into depression. I feel lost and had no idea how to remedy the situation. We both enter a down spiral. She keeps threatening me with suicide, and that she's unhappy with me. Suspecting she's bipolar, as her behavior is comparable to a roller coaster ride. She keeps playing mind games with me, and tests to see my reactions and limits. She expresses her wishes to separate, if I don't change. I had no idea what called for change, neither did she mention anything significant, except that she wanted a bigger apartment, and meet her materialistic and romantic demands, which I was inexperienced and almost incapable of. I thought everything was going just fine, besides from her sudden rage moments, or when she cries for seemingly no reason which I had no understanding of. Despite my dysfunction, I cuddled with her, comforted, instilled positive thoughts and tried my best. She keeps blaming her outbursts on birth control pills or period. The relationship according to me was still at an early stage, and we both needed to work harder to get a stable economy, as my income back then was enough to pay all the bills, and yeah, I covered all her expenses as well. Makeup, clothes, food, hygiene products, etc. Strange and suspicious behavior. 2014. Weird questions started popping up. Is it okay if I work as a prostitute? What would you do if I cheated on you? She then confessed she had cheated on me. I asked if she was serious, and she promised she was being truthful. I sat in silence and stared at her. After a few minutes she laughed and said she was joking. At that moment, my trust for her broke. She put a password on her phone, claiming friends at school attempts to peek at it, yet refuses me access to it. Becomes more fishy over time. She starts playing with another guy, whom was obsessed with Asian girls. She claims they're strictly friends. She sometimes goes out at night with makeup and questionable clothing. Taken a few trips across country or flew to Budapest. Note: the guy she was playing with lives in Slovakia. I become further suspicious and contemplate over if separation would be the best for us. I gradually deny her attention and money. She excuses that the trips makes her happy to forget her misery with me. Comes up with reasons to give her money for things like gym card, but in reality she'll use it to travel to see someone else or send it to her mom. Me being introvert and grow awfully fond of people close to me, couldn't imagine anything bad was going to happen. She still said she loved me every day. Sex was reduced to once a week or a few times a month. still cooks food and does some housework. I help whenever I have energy. It would also be time-consuming to dump her and meet someone else, so I tried to hold us together and stay positive, and she kept telling me I can't see anyone else, and that I'm only hers. Also, she has nowhere else to go. Her tone changes more, and she becomes less tolerant of me, and minor mistakes, outright disrespectful and insulting. She said more harsh things like, "I'll never find anyone else," and that there's no one like her, and I should give her what she wants. Overuses the words always, and never, blaming me while victimizing, justifying herself and actions. Brings up past things in her arguments, like she gave up on her family to be with me because of love. She got her permanent visa here in Sweden after these years. Guess I'm not needed anymore. Caught, March 2015. While she was on another trip, I managed to figure out her PC password, an old one I knew of to my surprise. I should have done this earlier. Found pictures of her with a Slovak, dated from as far back as March 2014. 2 months chat logs of cybersex. I couldn't eat or sleep. When she came back, she pretended like always she had been with friends, and ruled out she had been seeing another guy. I demanded to look through her baggage. She immediately rushed to grab an SD card in her bag. Wow, really? Then came the confrontation. I said I knew everything. She blamed me for finding out, calling me a bad man. Oh, I've just supported, cared, provided free living for you and covered your expenses for more than 3 years. Doesn't mean anything, right? She cried endlessly, attempting to come up with unthinkable compromises, like if she could stay, but still see the Slovak as a friend. Aftermath, May 2015. She managed to seduce and have sex with me. I bought her a day after pill afterwards, which she lied about taking after I bought it for her. She left in a hurry, and then a month later claimed she was pregnant, and we had to get married. Fortunately, I convinced her to abort and is now undergoing the process. Present time. I've been numbing red pills, 4 hours the past week, viewing YouTube channels like Neo Unplugged, Sandman, Feminism LOL etc. So many realizations, revelations emerged. I still feel lost, confused and alone. It's almost like I'm back in the state I was during 2011. Longing for someone to cuddle with, and drown my endless sorrow. I gave dating sites a shot, but to no avail. I'll keep trying for a bit longer. Digesting red pills the best I can, feels so heavy. Update 1. Met ex yesterday. She picked up her stuff at my place, kept trying to victimize herself constantly, and blaming me for her economical situation, but I was completely untouched emotionally. Also said she has always been kind to me, and brought up past things like usual, and then proceeded attempting to sell sex. I could see right through her behavior with my newly acquired insight. Her defense mechanisms, lying, self-victimization etc., immediately activates when counter-argued with rational statements. Her voice turns into a low, sad and childish tone in an attempt at persuasion. When on the phone, she's transformed into a different person in a split second. Utmost fascinating. She said she can't help lying, she's a pathological liar, which has clearly been shown several times, and will keep on doing so. I won't fall for any. She always claims and is completely convinced she got together with me out of true love, and uses this against me. This still confuses me to this day. Also mentioned that she may want to come back in about a year, or when she becomes a better person. Is that even possible? Oh, and this was my first relationship. Still undecided if it's my last, Might try finding an equal partner, or perhaps I will up my red pill dosage a notch. It's already at 1 to 2 hours of MGTOW content a day, on YouTube. Update 2. X trying to crawl back. She said, "I still love you, but I don't have feelings for you." Her words. Error 4 not 4, logic not found. Openly asked me to be her provider, and that she wants to sit at home for free, working is too hard. Because reasons couldn't provide a single valid one when confronted about it. My mom considers her as friend, meets X sometimes and even pays some stuff for her. Talks to X behind my back. She was looking at old FB shit, said we were so good together, and hopes that we'll get together again like before. My mom put up pics of me and X on my fridge. I confronted her and she said, it's because she misses her. What the fuck is this shit? I ripped them down. I'm banging my head on desk in disbelief. She siding with X against own son? Is this some sort of mind game, those fucking pics? What's going on? I'm so confused, or are women really this stupid and devoid of empathy? They have no idea there's no fixing this? She has already slept with others, and due to our male programming we're repulsed by these kinds of females, yes? Another update. Can't convince my mom to stop contact with X, she regards her as a daughter she never had or some bullshit. Caretaking instinct kicked in probably when X victimizes herself as usual, and claims to be miserable. I started calling out on her shaming language, I'll have none of it anymore. Can't seem to stop thinking of how I was wronged, like when X stole my credit card and withdrew money, lied and denied about it despite evidence. Asking me if she could sell her kidney to send money to her sick mom. Obviously wanted me to pay and feel guilty and pressured into giving some, instead of making any real effort finding a job. Guess, I want to hear her make a proper apology, and express deep remorse over all those things. I want to stop thinking about it and move on, but certain stuff triggers memories. Think it'll go away in time? Has been almost a year and this drives me nuts sometimes. I don't want this anymore.
Since his red pill, he could have seen all the red flags starting from her pursuing him, till she finally admitted she wanted him as a provider. I lost count, half the way. What I couldn't understand is how easy is it for his mother to side with his ex. Maybe it is the feminist indoctrination in Sweden. Be careful, be safe out there. What better way to save a brother than sharing your story? Send your stories to redpill.story@gmail.com. Contribute at patreon.com/redpillstory. Contribute directly through PayPal at redpill.story@gmail.com. If you like to hear more of these experiences, comment, rate and subscribe. Don't forget to bang the bell. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/storyredpill. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/storyredpill. To avoid attacks from social justice warriors, follow me on gab.ai at gab.ai/storyredpill. Cheers. See you tomorrow.